Yo, this is Chris Izento Morrison giving you another inclination. This time I want to talk about the 2017 NA LCS Spring Split MVP, which my vote is going to be for Jensen. I think he's doing fantastic this split, and I want to break down some stats as to why I believe he should be voted MVP. So first of all, he has the highest CS per minute at 9.7, and to give a little background to this, he is tied for Phoenix last spring split, which was also 9.7. He's fourth highest DPM at 588, which behind him is Arrow, or in front of him is Arrow at 589. And to break that down, I guess we could say that Jensen is doing extremely well for DPM because the ADC meta was mostly poke champs in the beginning and towards the end, where you have Varus and Ezreal as two of the main staples ADCs. And Jensen has also been playing a lot of Orianna and a lot of Cassiopeia. So those champions, they aren't very high in poke, and he's only played a couple games of Corki and Jace, which are high poke champions. So to have a lot of DPM coming from him in the mid lane is very impressive, right behind a ADC player. So highest gold per minute at 440, that's pretty good. He's getting a lot of gold. He's getting a lot of money stacking that paper. So that's very impressive. With second highest KDA at 5.4, which I will say that it's kind of inflated by his game against Envy, which he got 20 something kills in. So I mean, but he's gonna take it where he can get it. So that's good for me. 70.4% kill participation, which is seventh highest in the league, and here I think is probably a point where you could argue that he doesn't deserve MVP because of this. But I think with his highest DPM at 588, fourth highest, I think it goes to show that he is still doing damage regardless of his kill participation. So now we have his final point is fourth highest MVP votes with 10 votes. So he's behind Dardoch, first place, which is 12 votes. But I think honestly, anyone that's very high up in the MVP votes, you could make a good argument as to why they should get MVP. Jensen uses his team gold 25.9% of it, so he's taking a lot of resources from his team, but he is once again doing a lot of damage. So it is essential to his team plan or whatever to actually get him gold. Jensen's death share is 17.2%, and the only players that have higher DPM than him that have a lower death share is Arrow and Froggen. So he's not dying a lot, and he's putting out a ton of damage. So he's doing his job correctly. He's positioning great in team fights. He's working his way through the laning phase with barely any faults. And well, speaking of faults, I do say that the one thing that Jensen hasn't impressed me on is his wards. He has actually some of the lowest wards per minute out of any person in the LCS, let alone mid laners. So he's not getting his vision very well, but he is being covered by Contracts, who is doing a lot of warding himself, and with Smoothie, who is just on top in terms of map control and vision control. So and I want to give my honorable mention to Froggen. Froggen has been tearing it up, and honestly, this guy is he's in elo hell. Keith has been looking terrible this split, and then you have Looper, who's having some problems in the top lane and not meeting expectations to what we expect from a former world champion. So and then Acadian, who was looking strong in the very beginning of the split, but then had a slump towards the end. So Froggen, he's kind of carrying the whole weight of his team, but he is getting a lot of gold. He has some of the highest DPM, so I mean he's doing as much as he can, but he's just not able to close out games by himself. So someone else needs to pick up the slack. So that's it for my MVP. I'm gonna say Jensen takes the cake. So be sure to mash that subscribe button so you can be that hipster that says I knew him before he sold out. And follow me on Twitter at GG Izento to catch all my twats. See you guys next video.